A witness took the stand earlier today in the Jeffery Brown murder case. News Channel 8's Wes Small is all over this one.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. It is day 9 in the Jeffery Brown murder trial, or the 2007 JFK Christmas morning shooting, whatever you prefer. Today, the defense called their first witnesses. But before that, I have to tell you that, as usual, as the previous days, Judge Donahue called both sides into his chambers pretty much to dictate how the court will go for the day, how the game will go, so to speak. What are the ground rules? And again, making sure all witnesses are protected and so forth. All right, so let's get right to it then. A female witness was called, and she used to live in D. Shabert housing community. I could tell you that. But of all my experiences in journalism, and all my experiences is just watching court cases on TV, including the O.J. Simpson trial or the William Kennedy Smith trial or what have you, this witness was the absolute worst witness I've ever seen in my life. She had the courtroom in stitches. Judge Donahue several times had to interrupt this young lady and say, please talk into the microphone. We have stenographers that can't make out your gestures for the record, and most important, the jury can't hear you. She was a piece of cake. I got to tell you something. If you ever wanted a lesson in Crucian Ebonics 101, you would have gotten it today. She was asked simple questions, like, how was the lighting in JFK that night? And she was like, what? If you mean the lights wasn't good as they should have been. It was pretty rough and raw. You really had to break it down. But the significant testimony on this witness, as bad as she was, I can't see how she helped out either side. The significant part of this witness, though, was the fact that she had the driver firing out of the driver's side with both hands and a mask over his face. So if you think it's hard to drive with no hands, imagine driving and firing with a mask over your face. Now, this is the defense witness, and she was brought on subpoena. She did not want to be there today. Trust me on that. When she was asked about what in the world you were doing at 1 o'clock in the morning, going from D. Shabert to JFK, do you normally do that? After she hesitated and she was prodded, she said, yeah, I go on the tough on the corner. So it was Ebonics 101, and she broke it down pretty raw. Getting into some other things about the description of the car, she contradicted herself when the prosecutor, I believe it was former Judge Andrews, prosecutor, he said, now, was the car in front of you when the shots were fired or in back? And I believe this reporter heard she said it was in front. Then when he asked her a couple of minutes later, which is like an old attorney trick, she said it was in the back. So her testimony, I don't know if it's going to weigh much. But again, the significant part of that female witness's testimony can be about both guns in the driver's hands as he was firing shots into the crowd. That could play a big part. All right, that witness was excused, and then another witness was called, and then they couldn't find her. She, disappeared temporarily. So they're trying to find her. So then Capdeville apologized to Donahue for that, and then they called the DV surveillance manager back up. Remember, he had previously testified, so he was giving some testimony about Jeffery Brown and the glasses. Remember that. I told you that was going to play a big part in this trial, about the shotgun casings shattering Jeffery Brown's glasses. Now, this is from, again, the court, the jailhouse informant, when they were discussing discovery, him and Jeffery Brown allegedly. So you could see where this is going. We watched the surveillance footage again, and you could clearly see that Jeffery was not wearing glasses. And then the timeline came into play, and then Judge Donahue called a recess again. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for your Crime Stoppers Report. All
right, it is Wednesday, and this is your Crime Stoppers Report. It's not a usual Crime Stoppers where we solve certain crimes from each island This is like a progress report. Since January the 1st of 2007, sadly, there's been 135 homicides. That's right, committed in our territory. Almost all were due to gunshots. Now, you're going to watch some footage that we have today that was confiscated in Calhoun, just to let you know about the guns while I'm talking. More than half of the victims are under 35 years of age. Because of you, though, Crime Stoppers has now made a dent in 48% of these homicides, with many of the remaining cases nearing completion. So, folks, it's pretty simple. Let's keep up the good work and help solve these crimes. Remember the words of newly sworn-in Commissioner Novell Francis Jr. Either you're part of the solution or you must be part of the problem. And Crime Stoppers is urging you to please continue to be part of the solution. Now, on Saturday, September 26th, in St. Thomas, they're going to host activities, and it's a national night out against crime. Similar events will follow on St. Croix and St. John in October. As a matter of fact, as a side note, I'm working with Clement Lewis and Mary Mingus from the Women's Coalition, as they're going to be hosting this Friday, as a matter of fact, a special tribute to homicide victims and their families. From Rainbow Command, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes Small, and we too at Channel 8 want to be part of the solution. And the Department of Labor is now holding a job fair tomorrow at Gertrude's. Remember that September is Labor Awareness Month, and tomorrow at Gertrude's, starting at 4 p.m., representatives from the Department of Labor and several employers will be on hand. So dress nicely, walk with your resume and a positive attitude. Most important, show your Crucian pride and wear a big smile. That's tomorrow at Gertrude's between 4 and 7 p.m. And stay with us on Channel 8 News. We have more after the break.